I'd like to welcome you all here. We have 5 different topics to address today. I want to begin with representatives from Activate Allen County and St. Rita's, Josh Underbrink and Tyler Smith. Got to have it on your, just ask doesn't do it. Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're proud to announce a partnership between the Partnership to Improve Community Health Grant and St. Rita's Health Partners, partnering for our Activated School Challenge. We're working with 6 area schools to fund innovative wellness and health and wellness programs through the 2016-2017 school year. We have targeted 6 local schools. And each of those schools will go through an approval process where they will put forward a project that we will then fund. Those projects will be evidence-based and will be something that's sustainable and will impact students both this calendar year and years into the future. So I'd like to introduce Tyler Smith to say a few words about St. Rita's support.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, so at St. Rita's, we have a culture that supports and encourages an active and healthy lifestyle for our employees and their families. So to help support and fulfill our mission to make our community healthier, this is a big step for us because we want to invest back into our youth and provide the teachers and the students the necessary tools and resources that they can develop, instill, and cultivate these healthy habits and behaviors. And I think with this Activated School Challenge, that's a great first step towards making our communities healthier, and then installing that within our youth so that it can be cultivated throughout their life, and we have a good foundation to build on.
So are we talking elementary, middle school, high school?
All different levels. Individual schools, not necessarily a school district, will be impacted, many of which will be impacting a middle school or an elementary school or a high school specifics. Awardees and projects will be announced in October, and folks that do have questions, would like more information, can contact Activate Allen County by calling us at 419-303-3387, or can email us or email me directly at j.underbrink@activateallencounty.com. But we just want to thank St. Rita's for sponsoring this program, and we want to make a note that schools have a lot on their plates. A lot of times we hear negativity about schools, and really I think the opposite is the fact that schools are trying to create educated, healthy young students, and many times they don't have the resources necessarily, like Tyler said, to do that. So we just want to kind of bridge that gap and provide the schools the resources that they need to be innovative and to put children's health at the forefront.
Yeah, ultimately make healthy fun again. I think it's a big thing. Making it fun again.
And instill those lifelong
behaviors and habits. Yep.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds like a great partnership. Also this morning, City Councilor Teresa Adams is here. Teresa is the chair of the Finance Committee, and they're holding a meeting shortly to talk about the issue of fees for service by our safety services.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I just wanted to publicly invite residents, citizens of Lima to attend Monday, August 29th at 6 p.m. in these chambers. The committee will be meeting along with the administration and safety service staff, the Chief Martin and Chief Baker, to discuss the billing for non-EMS calls, fire, traffic, crash response. Some cities have adopted this. People have different opinions. Maybe don't have a clear picture yet, and that's what this meeting is to bring about. A discussion. It's first of many meetings that will be held. And I would, if the mayor will allow me, I'd like to call Chief Martin up to maybe expand a little more on the purpose of the meeting that we're going to have Monday at 6 p.m. in these chambers. Thank you.
Good morning. The concept actually regards billing for non-emergency medical services. response, because the emergency medical service response is already billed for by the Lima Fire Department. And the idea would be that the at-fault party in a traffic crash would be the person who would be billed for those services. The Lima Police Department responds to well over 1,000 traffic crashes each year. Many of those where there's a potential for injury also requires response from the fire department. And so the idea is to try to recover some of those costs because, again, our taxpayers are paying for, in so many cases, someone else's negligence. Again, we're not looking at the idea of billing people who are not at fault, an innocent victim in the traffic crash. But that's where the proposal, or the communication, I should say, to council from both Chief Black and myself was asking council to at least consider this. And that's why we greatly appreciate Councilor Adams holding the committee hearing and allowing the public discussion to take place regarding this matter. And I should also mention that in terms of the money that would be recovered for these services that are being provided, again, it would help to offset some technology needs that we have coming up, most notably the costs that are going to be associated with body cams as our department begins utilizing body cameras. Because a lot of people think that the only expense might be involved with that would be for the cameras themselves, but there is ongoing storage cost and cost associated with the public release of that data then that's collected, and potential redactions from that data and those types of things. So that would be my hope anyway as to where we would see those funds expended. But again, that's going to be entirely up to the council's discretion, and so I'm looking forward to having the meeting and the opportunity to discuss these things this coming Monday.
Thank you.
Teresa. I do want to emphasize, we have been looking at a variety of revenue ideas because we do have technology needs that are expanding, and we introduced a Smart Cities initiative to council in the spring, which has a 7-figure price tag, and associated with that, as the chief just mentioned, as well as the whole issue of body cameras, and the costs on that just continue to escalate. So we're anxious to figure out some ways to afford these systems, and this is a set of services that we're providing, and as the chief mentioned, it's a reasonable option for us to look to be billing, particularly those that are at fault and the insurance that they carry. So we look forward to that emerging from the council committee process. Joyce Tracey is here from Apollo Career Center with information about their English as a second language.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. I am Joyce Tracey, and I coordinate the Apollo ABLE GED ESOL program. And ESOL does stand for English Speakers of Other Languages. For those of you who have been in the community, you certainly can see that the construction has been rampant out there. Everyone will ask the question, what are they doing? Well, what they've been doing is, building and reconstructing our school, and we are finally going to be back in the building starting the first week of September. So we are very excited to be back. Due to construction, it took us out to outlying areas, the libraries, churches. So now we're going to be back kind of in one home. So we're already seeing that, like we're all in the same room going, now what are we going to do? But our ESOL programs help speakers or people from other countries. We bring them in, we work with them on reading, speaking, writing, and listening skills so that they can understand better. And again, we have them come in at all levels. They can be illiterate in their own country and their language. We also have people who come in with PhDs, but they still can't read, write, and speak English well. So that's what we do. We are on a state grant. The program is free. We have partnered with the RTA bus people. We now have a bus coming to Apollo as well, which we think is a great step for us and for our students. But of course, we're saying if you don't use it, we're going to lose it. So our orientation is coming up. We have our first one is Monday morning from 9 to 12, and then our evening class will be Wednesday from 6 to 9. So in any way we can help to spread the word, certainly we sometimes feel like we're the best kept secret. We try our best to get that information out to people in the community, but sometimes it's like, I never knew you were there. So anything you can do to help get that information across. We don't have one group of students from a particular country. We're very diversified in Lima, and we've had as many as 18 different countries represented in our ESOL program. So sometimes, we may think people from Mexico or people from Ukraine, but they're from everywhere. So I thank you for being given the opportunity, and certainly I do have some flyers if anyone wants to take one and share our information. And we are on the Apollo Career Center website, so certainly you can always, Google Apollo. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works Director is here. How are you going to talk about safe route to school improvements as well? No. Oh.
Yes,
Instead, he's here to talk about his a new item in his job description, which is goose management.
Before I get to that, I will comment about the Safe Route to Schools initiative. For a couple of years now, our city engineer, Kirk Niemeyer, has been aggressively going after state resources to improve the safety around our schools. And with schools opening, we're proud to announce that we have had the contractor complete the flashers at the various public schools around the city. And these will be new visual aids to the driving public to remind us that students are walking to school and we need to exercise caution. Again, these are state funds that have been set aside to improve the safety around our schools, and it is new, so we're very proud that we have been able to upgrade the safety around our schools, not only using flashers, but there's a whole number of other improvements that were done with these grant funds that I won't go into today. We'll do that at another time. What I do want to talk about is the wildlife control efforts of the Park Division and the City of Lima. Any of us who have been using the outside facilities, playing fields, the bike pedestrian path, knows that this was a particularly problem year with the number of geese in our parks, as well as in our along our the Ottawa River bikeway. We have been, to our best of our ability, trying to manage those geese. The problems that they bring, they become very aggressive, especially when they have young. They will hiss at you if you're on a bike. They will actually fly at you. If you're pedestrian, sometimes they will fly and try to attack you. They have been befouling the bikeway all summer long, and as well as our playing fields. Our maintenance crew has spent an inordinate amount of time trying to keep the bike path clean. We thought we were at the end of the problem as this little drought period came through. All of the geese disappeared. Early this week, we see that now there's flocks of 75, 100, 150 returning. We want to let the public know at this time that the park rangers will be more aggressive in their harassment techniques, because if we make this an unfriendly environment, they will go to the more rural areas where they are not as bothersome. So the neighbors around these areas may see the park rangers with their ranger vehicles entering into flocks, flicking on their sirens to harass these and have these geese fly away. Sometimes we have to change up methods. There will be instances of the rangers actually shooting blanks around these flocks to get them to move elsewhere. I want to assure the public that what we will be using is a similar to a starting gun, and they will be blanks. They will not be using their service weapon in the efforts to harass these geese and have them leave. Having said that, we've been working with the Ohio Department of Natural Resource with this problem now for a couple of years. The best deterrent is if we can find their nest and discourage them from nesting in the springtime. When that fails, the geese stay. ODNR encourages us to continue to harass these things throughout the season, and in exacerbated conditions like we have now, they actually grant you a license to thin the herd or kill off the geese so they do not come back. We do have a license to do that. However, we're electing not to hunt or reduce the flock by using hunting methods because we are in a populated area, so we've decided not to do that, but to continue the harassment techniques. One last word. As we get through this season, we're already looking ahead to the next season. And again, the best deterrent is if we harass and identify those nesting sites and make it an unfriendly place to nest along these populated areas. The goose excrement on the bike path is not it's unhealthy, it's unsightly. More concern to us is that they are using the playing fields of Lima. Now we have kids out there playing soccer, baseball in the summertime, as well as football season is beginning, cross country. We don't want that kind of health risk in our playing fields if we can avoid it. So looking forward to next year. If there are volunteers in our community that are interested in helping us drive these geese away, we would be interested in that. And what that means is early in March, we go out and look for the nest and identify them and addle eggs. Also during that season, if there is anybody out there with dogs, specifically English border collies, they have been very, very effective in other communities, teaching these dogs how to chase geese, and the geese will find other areas where they are welcome to leave our recreation areas and go there. So any volunteers with dogs, any volunteers who want to help us go out and look for nests in the springtime, please call our office. Number at the parks is 419-221-5195. That's 419-221-5195. Thank you.
He changed it up to wildlife control, but he's really the master goose harasser. And we're just going to add that to his job description. And your language was all very appropriate for general media distribution. Yes, well, I think that's all that we have for today, so we'll break down for interviews. Thank you.